Hi, this is Suzanne Wachtel, LCSW, and today's topic is empowered dating. Dating is the topic today for our talk. Many people over the years have come to me, over the past 25 years, that can't figure out single people, single for a long time, not a long time, really not knowing or having the first inkling about how to date. Dating is really a strategy and a science, much more so than when you're young and you meet someone and there's a chemistry and woohoo, you're off to the races. Or in your teens and 20s, early 30s, you meet someone, you have an attraction, a connection, your friends are all getting married, the baby window is closing, everyone seems a lot more attractive than they normally would, and boom, you're in a relationship. The goal really, though, of empowered dating is to figure out strategies and tools to meet the right person, to find out how to do that, and to really simplify it so that it becomes more or less of an interview style and not so much of a magical chemistry type of a situation. Not to say that chemistry is not a very important thing. It certainly is. However, if you have chemistry with the wrong person, eventually the chemistry will wear away, and then you're stuck with somebody that you're not compatible with. So that being said, many people came to me over the years trying to find the right person, and again were disappointed, were rejected, and really felt very frustrated with the whole situation of dating. So I wrote a book actually called Empowered Dating, Find the Right Person This Time. And it really was developed. I had a woman who was coming to me for therapy, and she was actually a very high positioned executive at a bank. And she had gotten divorced. She was 50 years old and had not dated for about 20 something plus years. And now here she was in the dating situation and had no idea where to begin. Of course, she did some sort of a profile. I believe she went on a couple of websites, and then she decided to go on some dates, and one was worse than another. And she arrived in my office defeated, upset, disappointed, and that's when we began to systematically come up with an amazing strategy. She was an executive accountant. And so her mind was very mathematical. That was her approach. I always believe in having tools and strategies to get to your goal. Her goal was to find a life partner. Her goal was to find a life partner that had a set of things that were important to her. So the first thing we did was we made a wish list. We went through many sessions figuring out, and her writing it down, what was super important to her. Now, we all have the basic things, but, sometimes, for example, is a sense of humor important to you? Well, then it goes on your list. So the first thing you need to do, and if you're sitting listening to this and this topic is important to you, take out a paper and take out a pen, and let's go through the different categories. Okay, and there's quite a number of categories that we don't even think about. I don't know about you, but in our 20s and, when girls are getting married and for the first time getting engaged, etc., many people don't even think about these things. They just think about, oh, yes, he fits a few of the categories important, religion, job, my parents like him, etc. And boom, we're engaged, married, and, often it is a disaster. So the first thing with the list is to take out your pen and paper, and I would say attraction is important. Now, some people, it's very important to them to have certain features. For example, some people, insist on height, body type, things like that. And if those are important to you, then jot it down. Another category is, for example, being athletic. If you're really into that and you want someone who you can play pickleball with, go bike riding, hiking, etc., put it down. You want someone who's into fitness. Another one that's important is religion. If you're very religious or you're somewhat religious, that's important to you. If someone is not, it may be a conflict later on. Not being religious, that sort of a thing. Sense of humor. To me, that's super important. Sense of humor. That can get you through a lot of rocky roads, that sense of humor. So sense of humor. A family person. Is family important to you? Children important to you? That's a big one. Pets. Are you a cat person? Are you a dog person? Are you a no animal person? This is important. Write it down. The next thing is vacationing. As silly as that sounds, if you like to go skiing and they like to lay on the beach, you're going to have a conflict. So what type of vacations do you like? What kind of lifestyle? Do you want to travel? Do you want to be in the city? Do you want to live in the suburbs? These things are important and later on in life may come up if you stay together. Another important topic is food. Food is something that you do every single day, right? So if I happen to be a really big foodie and my husband's a big foodie, and that has been a very big thing for the two of us over the years, cooking together, exploring new restaurants. So food. There are many people who are not interested in food. They're happy with a piece of bread and, cheese and really do not enjoy food. So if food's important to you or not important to you, jot it down. The next thing that I would say is attraction. Do they need to be a good kisser? Is that important to you? If it's not, we can always teach someone how to kiss if they check off all the other boxes. Social. Do you like a social person? Some people don't, some people do. If it's important, write it on your wish list. Travel. Do you want to travel? Do you not want to travel? Another important topic. And so on and so forth. So whatever you think of that you feel is important to you, add it to your wish list. I know many, many people that put together their wish list of really the perfect person and they write it all down. So now you're actually making a visualization of what you're looking for. It's not just someone in the random abyss. It's actually someone with these categories. I relate dating to literally interviewing. If you take the emotion out of it in the beginning and you take the insecurity out of it of wanting to be liked and all of those things that get you triggered and hooked in, sometimes to the very wrong person, you can literally, when you go out on perhaps a date, a first date, a conversation on the phone, I always recommend a short date the first time. Maybe perhaps I prefer during the day, like a coffee date where you meet for a 20-minute interview. And if you find that they're attractive enough and there's enough on your list throughout that 20-30-minute interview, then hell yes, you can agree to go on a date, because there's nothing worse than going on a first date at a restaurant and being stuck there with someone that makes you terribly uncomfortable and not being able to leave. You have to go sit through a whole dinner. So the first step is to make your wish list. The second is to organize a short daytime coffee date, have a quick drink date, take a walk date, anything like that. And if it's hell yes, then on your first date. And on the first date, it is important to pay attention, to ask the right questions, and to, without seeming like you're a Gestapo, doing like an interview like that, you want to gently find out if all of these things or most of these things are checked off on your list. If they're not, personally, I believe dating is a numbers game, and you only need one person to really settle in with. So if you can eliminate the people that are not appropriate and do not fit and not try to put them into your category when they don't belong there, it may take you longer. People, it's luck, really. Some people meet the right person within the first 5 to 10 dates, and sometimes it takes 50 dates. But you have to know that when the right person comes along and most of your boxes are checked and it just flows comfortably and easily, then for sure, that right person, it will just take off. You don't have to work that hard at it. And those are my simple suggestions to get started. Now, the truth of the matter is, if you're going to be dating, you're on the market once again. So on the market means that you need to, men are very visual and women are as well, but you need to really look your best. So that means perhaps having your hair done, maybe going and getting yourself styled. Perhaps you've been wearing the same old stuff for years and, you've been in a relationship or not for a long time, but it's nice to do a redo, a makeover. So maybe you need to redo your makeup. Perhaps you need to redo your hair. And my biggest suggestion, one of the most important things, is to spend the money and get fabulous photographs. Because the old photographs from 10, 20 years ago do not do you justice. When the person meets you, they're going to know right away that that's an old photo. So I believe that if you're looking for the right person, it is worth the investment to get yourself a makeover. I'm not talking about surgery. I'm talking about hair, makeup, and perhaps some fashion styling. And looking your best for now. And then having a photo shoot. And really showing different sides of yourself. Maybe a serious side, maybe an active side, maybe, really thinking about who you are and who you want that person to see when they look at your photographs, if you are going to go on a dating site. Dating sites are typically the most used today. Some people do have somebody to introduce them to someone. And that's always wonderful if it happens organically. And that would be the best solution. Now, there are 3 dating rules. The first date, like I said, is like a little short coffee date to see if it's someone you'd like to spend a little bit more time with. After the first date, I think if it's a hell yes or a no way, no thank you. You're a lovely man or a woman, but no thank you. I don't feel the connection. And I believe it would be a really good time to cut it off at that point, unless you think that you need to know more. And then you go on a second date. These are just strategies and rules. I had one experience with the woman that I wrote the book with. And she had gone on a date. He happened to have been a psychologist, and they did a one interview date, and it seemed to go pretty well. So she accepted a date at a pricey restaurant, and they went, and they had a lovely time, but she did not feel the connection. And she was thinking, actually, that she had a friend that she thought may do well with this particular gentleman. And when he called for another date, she said, you're a lovely man. I just didn't really feel the connection. And he went crazy. He started yelling and telling her that he felt ripped off and that she shouldn't have accepted the date. And he went on and on and on. And she politely said, I am so sorry you feel that way. Please give me your address and the amount of the bill, and I will send you 50% of the check. So touche to her, and obviously she did not fix him up with her friend. So you are going to meet all types of people. You're going to really, if you keep a journal, which is a very good idea, and you take notes after meeting each person, you will learn with each date more and more about yourself. You'll learn what you like, what you didn't like. You'll learn about the interview process, what were the game changers, what were the things that were good. And I think with every date, you really become more and more aware of yourself and what you're looking for. I think it could be fun. It doesn't have to be a hassle or a drag. And if you don't take it personally and you realize that you only need one person to be your partner and one person to end up with in a relationship, and you explore this opportunity and this experience to meet new people, to even improve yourself. Maybe you want to take a course, or maybe you want to start a hobby so that you have a little more interest for people. People are more interested in you because maybe you learned to play pickleball or, a different hobby. So I hope that you enjoy this process, and I hope that you find your Prince Charming or your princess or queen, and I hope that you've enjoyed this podcast. And thank you all for listening, and have a great day.